We are adding some texture to our paintings. We're working on our foregrounds. We've already done our background, our middle ground, and now we're working on foregrounds. I'm adding some more depth and texture to my tree painting. I am going to add another layer of trees. So I added some blue, green, and black together to mix that. And I was just pointing out some cool little polka dots that I did by dripping on water earlier. And then just letting them dry, and it created this really cool orb effect, this ring effect. And hopefully I moved my camera down. There we go. Cool. So I just added another layer of darkness just to give it some depth. So I just mixed those colors together, and I'm putting them in random places, still in that tree format that I did earlier, just to go in the background, in between some of those trees and around them. Just picking a few random places. Then I got distracted and started adding texture onto my trees, and I'm using like my number 2 brush, so it's got a nice pointed round tip to it, and I'm moving my paintbrush into like a curved fashion like I would do if I was drawing eyelashes to create those textures. So I'm just pushing in some more details in my trees further back. I still have to come up with what to add to the rest of this painting. I'm not quite done yet. But I am mixing together some more blues and greens and blacks, and I am adding on texture onto my pine tree earlier that I painted, and it dried completely before I could even add any of this. So I'm having some of my pine needles swing out to the right side, some going straight down, some going out to the left, and going off of the tree, adding some more of that texture. And when it dried, it looked very nice and even. It had some areas that were really thick and some that were light, so you could see a variety of value in there. And I'm just going to keep doing that. It took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do in here. Now, my students, you are allowed to paint in here whatever you want, but I do want you to have some things in the background that are very blurry with no detail, and then once you add something into the foreground, it should have a lot of textured details, whether it's a tree, a person, an animal, a spaceship, an alien. I do not know what you want to put in your world. This is for you. I'm just going to put some more plants down here on the grassy area, and later I really want to draw a Sasquatch. I might do that in one of my other paintings. So you can use acrylic paint or a white gel pen or a white colored pencil if you want to add some stars or some other things up in the sky, like where it's darker. I wouldn't add stars and where it's orange because that part's still like the sunrise down there, so that probably wouldn't make sense. So, and I realized you can't see those little plants. Oh, there we go. I was adding in some texture for grass, and then using some water to brush it out and make it even. So I did like change the texture just a little bit just to make it blurry, and then I switched to my cactus painting. I accidentally deleted the video where I added some more mountains in the background. I added a very light layer of mountains there. You can see it. The farthest ones in the back that are taller, I just washed on like it's red and orange with a lot of water, and I painted it behind those. And it was nice because watercolor is transparent, so it went right over my other mountains. And then I added in a layer in front of like it's dark brown and has some red in it, and I even added some black to give it some more detailed variety, so it looked like it was having more not textures, like you could see more rocks. It was a little bit more rocky, right? And now I mixed together, it was like orange and red and yellow, and then I put some green on it to make a really nice warm sap type of green. And once I'm putting in the paint over my cactus that I drew, since the watercolor is transparent, it is picking up some of that nice warm orange and red tones from underneath. But also, since I am painting a little bit harder with my paintbrush, it's lifting the color up underneath it, and it is rehydrating, resaturating those colors and blending them together. So I can't see the mountains underneath those. And again, this is like a silhouette because the sun's right behind it, so you wouldn't see that much texture. So I am adding a darker green with black and green and blue added to it, and I'm adding it to the side of the cacti that is farther away from the sun. On the left-hand side, I added that color to the left-hand parts of my cacti, and on the right-hand, it's on the right-hand side. I still have to add shadow in here, and I feel like I gotta add like a cowboy hat or some skulls or something really cool and interesting in there. Although this does look done. I do have stuff in my background of my sky, my middle ground's blurry, and my cacti are somewhat detailed. So boom, it's not bad, it's beautiful.